and welcome back to our Golden 20s podcast. My name is Tegan, and I'm joined with my co-host Sadie.
Hello.
And we are joining you this Galentine's Day just to chat about all things romance. If you follow us on Instagram, you saw last week or the week before that we put out a bunch of questions around romance, your, celebrity crushes, your favorite rom-coms, your favorite romance books, and we got some very interesting answers. So we're going to do a little deep dive into what everyone shared and, of course, share our own thoughts.
Yeah, I love this. I feel like this will be a fun little girl talk.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Girl talk, yeah. And we did this last year, and it was very fun. And it's interesting to see like some of the answers that are the same as last year, where there are some new ones this year. So
yeah, totally. And that episode last year was one of my favorites we ever recorded for some reason. I don't know why. I still think back on it fondly. So if you guys want to check that out, you can listen to that right after this. Just have a little Valentine's Day marathon of our Golden 20s podcast episodes. Mm-hmm. I think in that episode too, we like rounded up some of the best dating advice from TikTok, and that was so much fun. So yeah.
Yeah, great. I'm excited. Shall we start with celebrity crushes?
Let's do it.
Yeah, okay, great. So the first answer we got from the audience was Henry Cavill, which was someone we got last year as well. And he's the fella, I think so. He plays Superman.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had to quickly Google image him again. And I'm pretty sure this was exactly what I did last time. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, he's a handsome guy.
Yeah.
Classically handsome. Is. Very muscly.
Yeah. You said Superman?
Yeah. Isn't he? Okay. Or is he something else?
Any British man? I'm like, yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Superman.
Okay. And I feel
and he's in The Witcher, which I've never seen, but people are very into.
Okay. I feel like if you're a superhero, period, you're hot.
Yeah. It's the law.
Especially Superman. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to have like a classic jaw.
Yeah.
Lots of symmetry.
Or it like makes you, even if you're not attractive and you're Superman, it's like it immediately makes you hot, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. The next person we got submitted was Pedro Pascal, which I can't remember. I feel like I brought Pedro Pascal up last year because that was like the beginning of the Pedro daddy hype. And now.
Yeah. And at the time, I didn't know who he was, I'm pretty sure, where I was like, what? Who is this? What is he from? And now I'm like, he's impossible to escape. Like, he's everywhere. And
Yeah.
I feel for him,
he's
too.
It's very attractive.
Yeah, and his personality is just so fun, I guess. Funny, I don't know, where I feel like that adds to his charm. I don't know.
Yeah, he's definitely very charming. And I love, like, he always takes his sister with him to premieres, which is quite cute. And yeah, he's a good-looking fella. The internet's daddy.
Yeah.
He's 48 years old.
Okay. I'm really bad with guessing people's ages. Like, if somebody's like, guess how old I am, I refuse because I will either, I'll offend them regardless of what I say because it's going to be incorrect. But I was curious how old he was. Yeah. I was thinking like
he's from Chile.
But... Oh, I didn't know that. I could see it now, though, actually.
Yeah. So, those are two, I think, very famous hot guys.
Yeah.
Famous both for their hotness.
And both of whom I was like, I don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
Now I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one, too, I'm not sure if I know Jeff Goldblum.
I feel like you definitely know him. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum. He's older as well. He's in Jurassic Park, if you've ever seen Jurassic Park. And he's very quirky.
Okay.
But he's like very funny. It's again, I think, his personality.
Okay.
And yeah, he's older now. They didn't specify if it was like younger Jeff Goldblum now. So he's currently 71, a little bit older, but when he's in Jurassic Park, that's definitely a vibe. He wears like the leather jackets and he's kind of like a badass.
I don't know the last time I saw Jurassic Park, so I'm having a hard time.
Remembering.
But I just pulled him up on Google Images. This whole episode is just gonna be me Googling imaging people. But yeah, he's a fox. That is for sure.
Yes. And his personality, here's what really made me love him. He was a guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race. I can't remember what season, but he was clearly like out of his element, clearly confused, like is not in the drag world. But he was just so into it. And so like joking with the queens, like willing to be the butt of the joke so that they would look good making the joke, if that makes sense. Super supportive. And he was just like in awe the entire time, which I'm like, I feel like that's risky to have like a random older straight celebrity, but he was just like amazed by them. Even when they did their lip sync, he was crying because he was like, I've never seen like that much emotion portrayed. And I was just like, that is so nice. So that really made me like him.
Yeah, I'll have to find that episode of Drag Race and watch it.
I'll see if I can find like the clip of him reacting. But
I
was just like, what a nice man.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of him, I think now. And versus pictures of him younger, there's not too many coming up. But I feel like he looks more attractive now to me.
Interesting.
Like now he's just like a silver fox. Yeah. Where younger, I'm like, okay, maybe. But yeah, I find him more attractive now.
Interesting. I think I like younger, but this is good to know.
Yeah. That's funny.
Classic. I think next we got submitted Emma Stone, which I feel like
yes.
Yeah, for a certain demographic, like I was in university from 2013 to whenever that ends, 17 or something. And a lot of people were obsessed with Emma Stone. There was one guy in my class who had an Emma Stone t-shirt and he would wear it like every chance he could.
I don't blame him. If I had an Emma Stone t-shirt, I would probably do the same.
Be rocking that.
She was the best. And I feel like she's just in really good movies and she's like a really good actress. And again,
talented.
She's talented, and her personality, I feel too, is what adds to her charm as well. Where like, of course she's beautiful and like I said, talented, but she just has a great personality from what I've seen of her. I don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe also just like associating her personality with a lot of the characters she plays. And I always find like her characters are very like main character energy, which I love. So yeah.
Yeah. I love her too. Next person was Jason Bateman, which I can see, but I really hate Jason Bateman.
Disagree.
And well, my reason is the first thing I ever saw him in was Juno, where I watched Juno when I was like 11 or whenever it came out. And for anyone who hasn't seen it, he's like the dad who's going to adopt the baby, and he like pays a lot of interest to Juno. And I was like Juno, like a little sucker, falling for his charms. And then the big plot twist is that he like leaves his wife because he's like kind of interested in like fucking the 16-year-old who's carrying the baby he's going to adopt. And it's like the rug gets pulled out for you.
I do not remember this at all.
Yeah. And I was like disgusted because I was like Juno, where I was like, oh, cool, she found like a friend, whatever. But I was like, oh no, he's just like a scumbag. And now that's all I see when I see him, even though I know that that's a made up movie. I know it's not real life.
That was a character he was portraying, not actually
like
him.
10 years ago. We need to move on, even more 15, but yeah.
That's
so it's
so funny.
Yeah.
I don't remember the movie Juno at all. Now that you're talking about it, I just remember Michael Cera so distinctively in that movie, where that's all that like clouds my Juno I don't know, judgment where he's all I think about, and low-key love that. But when I think Jason Bateman, I think Ozark, and I've not even seen Ozark, but well, I've seen a few episodes here and there. My parents were like binging it through the pandemic, and I was living like part time with my parents like through the pandemic, so I caught the odd episode. But that's what I think of when I think Jason Bateman, and I do find him quite attractive.
Yeah.
He looks kind of...
I get it, but I also just can't get past my own mental block.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. Poor Jason Bateman. Sorry, buddy. But that's life.
But, yeah. But especially as an actor, I kind of feel bad for actors who are like, or think about like actors like a character from Friends who was the same character for so long. Like you only
you're typecast.
Associate them as that actor or that character, where it must be hard to be like, no, that's not actually me. Jason Bateman being like, no, Tegan, that wasn't me. That was my character.
If he personally came and apologized to me, I'd get past it.
You would forgive him. Yeah. That might be asking for a lot, but...
Yeah. I have a feeling I'll just continue hating him forever. But I do have that problem with actors. The first thing I see them in, I'm like, that's who they are for the rest of their life. So that's me with Steve Carell. I saw him in Foxcatcher before, like, I'd seen The Office, anything, and he's like awful in that movie. And now I like don't like him. Oh. And that's a big part of why The Office isn't like my favorite show or whatever. I know it's beloved, but I'm like, I just see him as that evil guy. So
I find this interesting considering you watch so many films. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I feel it would almost be the opposite, where you would maybe see the same person in multiple things where you wouldn't associate them to one character, versus someone like me who only watches a handful of movies over and over and over again, where it like really hits home, no, they are that character. But I don't know. And it is also kind of interesting, maybe not Steve Carell, but some actors and actresses, I feel like they always play very similar roles, where then it's like, even if they're in a different movie, but their character is still kind of the same, you just are like, okay, well, they're always this character in different movies, where I just assume that's their real life personality as well.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true. Or if they play, like, sometimes I'm like, you played that too well.
Right?
Are you actually bad? So,
See, I think that with Emma Stone, where I'm like, you played that too well, where I just think this is who you are, and you weren't even acting. Yeah, this is just your personality. But I don't know. The next one on the list here is a non-negotiable. Everyone will agree. Rihanna. I think Rihanna is absolutely fabulous, and a very safe celebrity crush. I feel like if you were to say Rihanna's my celebrity crush, everyone would be like, checks out, makes sense.
Yeah, correct.
Me too. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like the best part about Rihanna too is just like the no fucks given energy.
Yeah.
You know, where
she's
I feel
confident.
And it's in a really good way, where I'm someone, I feel like, where celebrities can rub me the wrong way, and then I have a hard time getting over it or getting past it, and just being like, getting the ick really quickly, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But Rihanna, the opposite, where I'm just like, yes, it's inspirational.
Yeah, totally agree. She's got some good fashion. She's like funny, and she's like a well-rounded pop star.
Totally.
And next submission was Niall Horan. I think that's how you say his name, from One Direction.
I agree with this.
I don't know him that well. I'll do the Googling this time.
Okay. I think he's another one, like, when was it? Did he put out a new album last year, or maybe just a new single or something? But he was all over my TikTok For You page. And when Harry's house tour was going around, he was being so supportive of Harry and like posting videos about that, where I was like, he is such a genuine, sweet guy that I also developed a celebrity crush on him. And he's just like, he is cute, like, cute, attractive. I don't know.
And he's Irish, I see.
Yes.
So I approve of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good choice.
I don't know if he would be my favorite from One Direction.
No, I do quite like Harry Styles. I think he is cute.
That's fine, Tag. You're like whispering that over there. Yeah, you're like, that's nothing to be ashamed of. That's fine. A lot of people agree with you. I'm definitely a Zayn lover.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
Totally. Zayn is very much like, yeah, just what I'm attracted to. Absolutely. Mm. Did you listen to Zayn on Call Her Daddy?
No.
You should. Because his personality is so... He's a very, like, quiet guy.
Okay.
But he looks so bad boy to me. Yeah. That's why I think I love him. Because I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. He's too bad boy for me.
No such thing for me. I need to look him up now, even though I know what Zayn looks like. Okay, I don't...
Just to confirm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 1000%.
He is cute.
People know exactly when my Google Images loaded, when my reaction was, oh!
His eyes. He has very nice eyes.
Yeah. And it's just the tattoos. This is the thing for me, guys. Like, tattoos galore. Sign me up. I find that so attractive. Yeah, no. He's definitely my favorite from One Direction.
The next submission was Brad Pitt, specifically in Fight Club.
Fight Club, yeah. Mm-hmm. This one comes from my sister. She's like, I just watched Fight Club a few weekends ago with her boyfriend. And she was like, while watching it, I was like, this is literally the hottest man alive. And I feel like Brad Pitt was the hottest man alive for so long. But I haven't seen Fight Club to... see him in action.
No, he's really hot in that. He's the ultimate bad boy in that. And I've actually heard, I can't remember where I heard this, but that his body type in Fight Club is like the most requested body type when men hire personal trainers. Is like every man who hires a personal trainer, when it's like, who do you want to look like? They say Brad Pitt in Fight Club, because he's like ripped and jacked, but he's not like huge. Like, it looks like he got jacked by like fighting people in a club.
Yeah. Nope. I'm looking up pictures now, and I definitely might watch this tonight. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Brad Pitt in general, I know, okay, maybe Fight Club's like peak hotness, and I could also see... I love how you're like, guys want this body type, because it's like, hey, the guys are also having their celebrity crushes on Brad Pitt. Oh, but I don't know. I feel like he's always attractive in everything. Yes. Like, he kind of, I guess, has gone through it in his life, where there's always like not so attractive photos of him on like tabloids and stuff. But he is really hot, and just one of those like eternally Mr. Hollywood hot men, you know?
Yeah. Even him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was only like 3 years ago or something. His character's, he's not an actor, he's a stunt man, and he's supposed to be like older, kind of washed up. And so the way they style him is very like old, like not attractive. And so for the first half of the movie, you're like, oh, okay, Brad's not looking too good. And then there's a moment he has to fix something, so he like takes off his shirt, and just the way he takes off his shirt, you're like, oh no, he's super hot. Even as like the older dude, you're like, oh, you tried to trick me, tried to make me think he wasn't hot, but he is still. So yeah, he's definitely still a handsome fella.
That's funny. Okay, Tag, what are your answers for celebrity crushes?
Yeah, my classic that I always say is George Clooney, but I do actually think it's Cary Grant. It's just that George Clooney was like the new version of that. But I love I don't even know how to describe it. It's like charisma, the banter. I guess like he is classically handsome. He looks like a Hollywood star.
I was going to say, I feel him and Brad Pitt have that same, like,
the Hollywood
Mr. Hollywood.
Vibe. Yeah. And so I like that. It has been a big debate between me and my brothers over whether he's hotter when he's younger with black hair or whether he's hotter with the salt and pepper.
Okay.
I'm team young with the black hair, but they're all team salt and pepper.
I might be salt and pepper as well. Yeah, no, I definitely am. And I don't know why. This is now the second guy in this list where I'm like, he's way hotter, older.
Interesting. See, I like the young, like when he's in Friends and he's playing that doctor. I'm like, that is my George right there.
No, it's current George Clooney for me. Yeah. I'm scrolling like deep on Google Images over here. Yep, can confirm.
Oh, no. This is what I'm thinking. Him in From Dusk Till Dawn, when he's got the black hair and he's all like tatted and he wears like leather and is mean. That's what I like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Surprise, surprise. Okay,
he's got like a
pictures.
Neck tat. Yeah.
Yeah. He does look attractive. I don't know about this haircut.
Yeah, it's a little bowl cutty. But
yeah. And it's kind of ruining the hot vibe. I don't know. I'm still going to go with Salt and Pepper George Clooney.
Yeah. What about you? Who are your crushes?
My number one is the same as last time. Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Hands down. Yeah. And I don't even know what to say after that. Just, that's my truth. And
yeah.
Straight up facts.
Yeah.
And I feel like I actually haven't even seen Michael B. Jordan in that many movies. Like, I think he is a good actor, but I'm like, since I watch primarily rom-com movies, which is what we're going to talk about next, and I'm so excited for that, but he's not in too many rom-coms. Like, I feel like he's in more like serious movies. Yeah. Action, serious movies. I don't know, but yeah, he just is my number one celebrity crush at all times.
He does have very good teeth.
Good teeth, yeah. Good eyes. Smoking body. He's really got it all to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has tattoos, but maybe. I'll have to look
Secret
that up.
ones. Hidden ones.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Speaking of tattoos, another one, which I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but David Beckham too. And since we last talked about celebrity crushes, like the Beckham Netflix series has come out. And I do have to say, watching that, like I've always loved looking at David Beckham. And I love that A, he's British, B, he's a soccer player, but most importantly, he's covered in tattoos. So watching Beckham, I found it, I really liked it, but more just for like the UK tabloid culture, which I'm so fascinated by and just like obsess over. Anytime there's like docuseries about British people, I'm just like, this is so fucked up, but I'm fascinated. But anyways, I found the series made me like David Beckham a little bit less, just like his personality. I don't know, where I was like, I'm not loving it, but I love how he looks. He's a celebrity crush to me. And I mean, if you're one of the greatest of all time athletes, you would be a little bit cocky. And, you know, he clearly like also really chased like the photo shoots, the fashion, the brand deals, which is, I think, how he got so famous as well. And obviously really helped his career. But I'm just like, I don't know, that side of him I wasn't loving too much. But
yeah,
strictly looks, he's hot.
Yeah, definitely. He's like one of the only men I had a poster of in my teenage bedroom.
Yeah. And his children are beautiful. Like, obviously you have his genes and Victoria Beckham, who's literally one of the most beautiful people ever, mixed together to create these beautiful children. But I'm like, that family is so beautiful to me. Like, yeah. Anyways, sorry, I'm just nerding out about the Beckhams now. But
yeah, no, he's definitely an attractive fella.
Yeah. I think another guy who's on both of our lists was Ryan Gosling. And this one too, since we last recorded this episode, Barbie, like this celebrity crush type episode, Barbie has come out and I feel Ryan Gosling just took over my entire TikTok For You page around Barbie. And not even from the Barbie movie, but just like interviews and things he said. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know it was possible to love Ryan Gosling even more than I already did. And now I'm just like, man, I love him. Like, he just sounds like such a good guy that I'm like, the opposite of David Beckham, where I'm like seeing his personality and like hearing about his personality makes me love him even more.
Yeah, I love him as well. I feel like we're the exact demographic where it's like one of the first rom-coms I saw was The Notebook, and that was like his beginning, and then he's been like the king of rom-coms for a while. So yeah, he's actually definitely up there.
Yeah, that was one of the TikToks I saw was his. Actually, no, it wasn't even his. It was Rachel McAdams' audition for The Notebook. And to see Ryan Gosling's reaction to it, oh my God. I was, first of all, like, it was amazing for Rachel McAdams. Yeah. We love Rachel McAdams. And actually, Rachel McAdams is my sister's boyfriend, celebrity crush, which I find so interesting. I'm always like, this feels random, but I know that about him. But anyways, seeing Ryan Gosling's reaction to Rachel McAdams, it's good. So you guys need to go watch. And he's so young. And like you said, it was like his start. And I don't know, just so cute. A supportive king through and through. We love that.
He is. I forgot the rest of my list. I abandoned it when I talked about George Clooney. But I did also.
I was like, okay, I'll just keep going.
Moving on.
Yeah. I'll carry us through.
Classic George. But I did also have Timothée Chalamet, who's my like younger crush, even though he's like my age, but still.
What do you think about him and Kylie Jenner?
Oh, the worst. I just, except it's so on brand. I feel like Timothy tries to put on like that he's like this European, like artistic guy, but I know deep down he's from New York.
He's trash?
Yeah, like his digital footprint. I've seen the videos of him in high school, and I'm like, yeah, of course he would date her. Like that's exactly what he wants. So funny. I don't like it, but I'm also like, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
I don't know what they would talk about, but they can continue on. It's fine.
Yeah. I don't know anything about Timothée Chalamet, which of course not, because I'm not up to speed with any movies and like, I don't know.
Yeah.
The up and comers, and even though he's been up and coming for a few years now, but I don't know. I know more about him now that he's dating Kylie Jenner, which maybe says more about me than I'd like to admit, but I find the couple very interesting and weird considering Kylie's track record of boyfriends, where I'm like, this does just not seem like a Kardashian match. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't check out to me, but whatever. They can do their thing. The other thing I find interesting, and I don't know, to your point, it's just like, what do they talk about? And like, I always forget Kylie Jenner is a mom of 2. So I'm like, God, to have, right? And then I'm like, how old is Timothée Chalamet? Like 26?
I think he's our age. Yeah.
Okay. And Kylie Jenner is younger than us. But I'm like, I don't know. It just, if I was a mom, a single mom of 2 kids, I would want like a man, you know, like, I don't know, not a kid my age.
Not a scrawny little fella.
Like exactly. Timmy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's 28.
Okay. And she's, I guess, younger than him. I think she's a few years younger than us, but
yeah, it just seems so random. Every picture I see of them together looks like fake Photoshop. Like it doesn't look like they could exist in the same universe. Because his beauty is very like classical. Like he looks like he's sculpted from marble in Rome.
Literally.
And she looks like she's not that. Like she looks like she was crafted for Instagram. Like she's got Instagram face, and he's got like whatever the opposite of that is.
Kylie Jenner invented Instagram face. Like literally.
So I don't even know, but I don't think that it will be a long-lasting relationship. Maybe they'll prove me wrong, but
yeah, I thought that too, but it's been almost 6 months, if not longer. I don't know. I'm trying to think back. Maybe it was just last summer, but we'll see. All these celebrities, I'm like, how legit is this? And how long will it last? But yeah.
Yeah. I do I just love him, especially in Little Women.
I still need to see Little Women.
He's so good in that. I
don't even know he was in that.
Yeah, he's like the main interest, Laurie, the neighbor boy. Yeah, and that's also directed by Greta Gerwig, the person who wrote and directed Barbie. And she said in that movie, the first time you see him, it's slow motion. And she said all of the producers in the studio were like, what are you doing? Like, that's insane. And they're like, it's cheesy, you can't do it. And she was like, no, trust me, this is how women see Timothée Chalamet. If he were to walk into a room, the girls, like, they would see him walking slow-mo. And so she fought really hard for it. And then at their first test screening, that shot came and it was the first time you see him and it's slow-mo. And she said all the girls screamed in the theater. And she was like, see, I told you that's how the world sees Timothy. And so she got to keep it in, him walking slow-mo.
That's hilarious. Emma Watson's in that too, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I want to see it. And I would actually say Emma Watson's probably one of my celebrity crushes as well.
Yeah.
I've been watching
who my husband loves.
Yeah. She's been all over my Instagram, like, For You page, if that's what it's called. Instagram feed, whatever. She did like a making a drink series. So she put out an alcohol brand with her brother. And I was just like, oh my God, I love both of them. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I saw a bunch of comments being like, where have we been hiding her brother?
Right?
Like, we need more of him.
Yeah. I went over to the brother's account and was like, maybe I should just follow this guy. Like,
yeah.
We love him. Yeah. Funny. Okay. And then to wrap up celebrity crushes, I also wanted to shout out Zac Efron. And one of our friends from high school has made me fall in love with Zac Efron all over again. As she sends me like reels of him on TikTok or reels of him on Instagram. And I'm just like, yeah, Zac Efron, he's always been hot and she's known from the beginning. I feel like I didn't see it through the High School Musical flippy hair days. But Zac Efron's another one where I'm like, the older he gets, the hotter he gets. And I don't know. I just find him extremely attractive. And he's had a few movies come out in the past year where, again, he's just been all over my social media feeds. And I'm like, we love him.
Yeah, he was so good in The Iron Claw. Like, he should have gotten an Oscar nom. So good. And him in that movie, he just has such a, like, effortlessness to him. Where in that movie, it was him and like Jeremy Allen White, who's a lot newer. And there were scenes where it was just like, you can tell that he's so confident and comfortable in front of the camera. So yeah, he killed it. And he was like the main part of that movie, really had to like carry it. Like if he was bad, it would have been bad. And he was so good.
Wow. We love that. Maybe I'll see that too.
Yeah,
this is always
very depressing.
This always turns into me creating a list of movies to watch.
Yeah. I don't know if you'll like it. I don't know. Maybe you will. It's about wrestling.
Yeah. Like I love wrestling. A good motivational sports movie, but the wrestling, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it is a sports movie. I don't know that I would call it motivational. It's like demotivational, where I was like, this is the most depressed I've ever been.
Oh,
but
no.
He was just so good. And he is quite jacked in it.
Yeah.
So that's good. But
yeah,
he killed it. I also like every time he's asked about High School Musical, he's very positive about it, which makes me happy. Like some other like Disney-esque people are very negative about their stuff, where he's seems very grateful for it. So
yeah, he just got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and I thought the exact same thing when he talked about. I think he either invited whoever like put him in High School Musical to the ceremony for the Hollywood Walk of Fame, or maybe he just mentioned them. I'm kind of blanking now, but in any case, the way he talked about High School Musical in his like acceptance speech or whatever that was very positive and like, literally, this is my start. I'm so grateful for it. And I was just like, So we love that. And his mom was there. He was like kind of crying a little, and I was just like, oh my God, I love this. Like, yeah.
Zephron. So
Zephron. Good. Yeah. But anyways, speaking of movies, let's move into the next category of things we asked you guys, which is favorite rom-coms. This, I think I know all of these, unlike the celebrity crushes where I'm like Google imaging. The first one we got was How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which Matthew McConaughey should actually also be on the celebrity crushes list. He's hot. And his voice, like, I don't know, he's like needs to be in cologne commercials, in car commercials, like all of the above. That is just his energy, and I am obsessed with that. But anyways, we're not talking about celebrity crushes anymore.
Moving on.
In 10 days. Sorry, I got distracted. Google imaging again. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Kate Hudson too. They're like, that's a very attractive duo, those two.
Yeah. And they both killed it. That is a really good movie. I need to watch that more. Every time I watch it, I'm like, man, it's been so long since I watched this movie and I love it. So maybe I'll watch that tonight too. Little movie marathon
I've only
over
seen
here.
It once, but I did watch, like, it was last year and I liked it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Interesting. So it was a good one. This, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, is an interesting choice. Yeah.
I love it.
I haven't seen that movie in forever. There was a moment in my parents' trailer where that was the only DVD we had. So there was like a summer where we saw a lot of I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. I do love Adam Sandler, which is maybe a hot take. I have 2 film degrees, but I do like Adam Sandler. So.
I was like, why is that a hot take? Adam Sandler's the best. But yeah, when you say it like that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I love that movie. I haven't watched it in a long, long time. And I have a feeling it was one of those that didn't age well. But
it's awful.
Yeah. I frequently think of it. Like the little stupid jokes that they say in it, for some reason, are always popping up in my head. No matter, like, I will be doing the most random thing, and it's some stupid line from I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry that comes to mind for me. I can't think of an example. But yeah, that is funny that that's on the list, but I kind of get it.
Yeah. Another one was Sleepless in Seattle, which is another one I've only seen once, and I watched it right before I went to New York the last time. It was good, but it's not up there for me as far as like the Meg Tom Hanks romances, but I was like, okay.
Yeah. I feel like Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, you can't go wrong. Like, absolutely can't go wrong. Yeah. I mentioned this last time, but You've Got Mail is like my family's favorite movie, starting with my mom. And it's funny, actually, just at the beginning of January, my mom got sick and she was like down and out with a really bad cold. And she was like, oh, well, You've Got Mail's on TV. It's like the universe knows that I need this right now. But anyways, that was what my sister submitted because, yeah, Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks, if it's You've Got Mail, Sleepless in Seattle, power duo, they make a mean rom-com, that is for sure. In a good way.
Both remakes of classic films, too.
I don't think I knew that.
Interesting. I wonder which one came first, because then it must have been like, it was a success, and they're like, okay, find another classic film to remake. But
I think Sleepless in Seattle came first. I don't know.
Because that's an Affair to Remember, which I much prefer Sleepless in Seattle to An Affair to Remember. You've Got Mail, though, The Shop Around the Corner, I do also really love because it's got Jimmy Stewart in it, who is one of my faves.
I haven't seen either of them to compare, but yeah.
Yeah, The Shop Around the Corner is a classic Christmas one. But they're sending letters, obviously, instead of email. But the part when she like sees when she's supposed to be like going on the blind date with the guy, and like the Tom Hanks character shows up, and she says like, "Where your heart is, there's a cash register." That's a direct quote from A Shop Around the Corner. As like a little reference, but yeah, I love all of the New York rom-coms, especially like the 90s era.
Yeah, wait till we get to my list. They're pretty much all New York based.
I mean, someone submitted the F Word, which is also called something else in the US.
What If?
What If, yes.
What If, yeah.
And that's set in Toronto, which is fun because there's not that many films that are shot in Toronto that are actually set in Toronto. It's normally like shot here and they pretend it's New York. So I do really like that movie, and it's like an interesting concept, I guess.
I need to watch it again. I watched it once. I loved the Toronto aspect of it, but I didn't like the movie that much, and I don't remember why. So I need to go back and rewatch it. There's some movies where I get so excited to watch it, and then I feel like I'm just too excited where it doesn't
too hyped.
But then the second time I watch it, I'm like, oh, I actually like this a lot more. Like How to Be Single is one of those movies for me. I remember vividly watching it in the theaters on Valentine's Day with my friend in college and being so excited, and then watching it being like, that wasn't great. And then now I watch that movie all the time. Like, I love it so much. So maybe the F Word will be like that for me as well.
Yeah. I could see people not liking it if you're in a long-term relationship too, because the whole concept is that she's in a long-term relationship, but is like, I'll just be friends with you if you're comfortable with that. And the Daniel Radcliffe character is like, yeah, I'm comfortable with that, but isn't. And then it's just their relationship where he's like, I kind of want to make her fall in love with me, but then I know that that's shady. So.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time remembering it. I did see Daniel Radcliffe at TIFF, and I think it was for this movie.
Yeah, because it had a TIFF premiere. My friends were at it, and then interestingly, the film they saw at TIFF had a different ending than the film that got released.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I just was outside the theater and saw him walk in.
Classic red carpet.
Yeah. And it was at a small theater where it was hardly even on a red carpet. Like literally just like got out of the car and everyone's like, oh my God. But again, he's another one where I'm like, he is Harry Potter in my head. Like, I won't get over it. That is all I've really seen him in. So to see him in other movies, I'm like, this just doesn't feel right.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Another movie we got submitted was The Proposal, which I also rewatched this year for the first time, like since it came out.
I love it. First of all, Sandra Bullock, the best. I love her. She's another celebrity crush. Just kidding. Every single movie that we talk about, celebrity that comes up, I'm like, celebrity crush. Yes.
Celebrity crush.
But no, she's so great. And Ryan Reynolds, right? That's who's in it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So good. Like, I actually forgot about that movie too. So good. Another one, The Ugly Truth. I feel these kind of all came out around the same time. The Ugly Truth is Katherine Heigl?
Yes. And, what's that guy's name?
Gerard Butler.
Yes.
He also went through a phase of like being in all these rom-coms.
Yeah, I've only seen this movie once. I feel like I went to see it in theaters with someone, like a friend, when it came out. Or we saw it at a birthday party or something.
Yes, I think maybe. I can't remember.
I don't even remember it. There's a scene where she has to wear like vibrating underwear at dinner. That is the only thing I remember. Everything else from that movie's.
She's a talk show host. He's like has a radio show, or
it's
maybe
something
the other
to do
way
with
around.
Like a bet. Like it's kind of like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, where she's making the argument that like men only want sex, and he's making the argument that like women only want love.
Okay,
this sounds stupid. Maybe that's not correct.
The person who submitted this is like, girls, just stop talking, just watch the movie.
Yeah, you've got it wrong.
Yeah, but I feel like they're a power duo in a rom-com too, where I remember liking that like a lot, them together.
And then you said You've Got Mail was submitted on my list. I also had When Harry Met Sally, which is in the same realm of things. It's, I think, my favorite Meg Ryan, one of my favorite rom-coms. I also recently got back into 13 Going on 30, which I hadn't seen it in forever, but now I'm like, I just like the element of her like apartment and that kind of thing. I also really like Bridesmaids. I know that that's maybe more comedy than rom-com, but that movie came out when we were in like grade 11 or grade 12. And I remember there were like a lot of sleepovers where we would watch Bridesmaids. And so I love that movie too. Obviously, Harold and Maude, because I named my cats after it. And I had to mention Adam Sandler. Just go with it.
Is that Jennifer Aniston?
Awful. Yeah. It's like,
okay.
From a movie making perspective, so bad, but
so good.
Yeah. Set in Hawaii, which is why I love it.
Oh, that explains
my family, like, we watch it once a year. I can quote it word for word. My family group chat is an image from Just Go With It. But it's like also an awful movie. Like, I know on paper it's bad. But I love it so much.
I've seen that one maybe once. However, again, Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler, what's not to love? I'll have to rewatch it. Another one to rewatch. Isn't there a second one to it now too? Or maybe they've just been in a few different movies together.
Yeah, they did another one where they were like in Africa, but that's the only one that's in that like universe, I think.
Okay. Interesting. I had the same, I'm pretty sure these are the exact same answers I gave last time. Crazy Stupid Love is probably my number one movie. It is so good. And of course, Ryan Gosling, Steve Carell, which, sorry, Tag, I know you already shared your opinion on him. But in that movie, he's so funny and cute. Like, I'm obsessed with him. Yeah. And I think he just plays that character so well. And Ryan Gosling, I'm like, ooh, he plays that character so well. Like, I just love that movie. And I remember seeing it in theaters with my mom and not seeing the like plot twist at the end coming. So I don't know. I just have like fond memories of that movie. And again, rewatch it all the time. It's one I have on DVD where it's like, okay, if I just want to watch like an actual DVD, this is what I'm going to watch. Absolutely love that. I have That Awkward Moment, which brings together some of my celebrity crushes all into one film. Actually, I remember last year we went talking deep about Miles Teller, who didn't make the celebrity crush list this year. However, he's the other guy in this movie, along with Michael B. Jordan and Zac Efron. I love this. And again, it's New York based. The next three on my list are New York based. So I also just love it for the vibes. But I don't know. I love the chick flick from the guy's perspective of that movie. So you must watch it if you haven't seen it yet. In fact, actually, Tag, you watched it since I last went on this rant about how great it is.
Yes. Yeah. I did enjoy it. I thought Zephron was really, really good. I didn't like the girl lead. That was my main beef with it.
I remember you saying that.
Where, I don't know, I felt like I don't know whether it was like her character was underdeveloped or she was just a bad actress. But I did like the guy element. Yeah, you do love like male-focused rom-coms. Now that I'm looking at your list.
Yeah, I don't.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I don't know why. The next one on my list is Hitch, which is also, it kind of almost has the same feeling of Crazy Stupid Love, where it's like, guy makeover and like, let's make you attractive to women. And it works for me. I'm like, I love this. I don't know why, but yeah. I was going to say on That Awkward Moment, sorry, going back to the girl character, I think my thing with it is, which I don't mind her. I still think it's a great movie. She doesn't annoy me, but you saying she's annoying doesn't surprise me. I can see it being because she's the girl next door, but trying very hard to be the girl next door. Where the whole point of being a girl next door is that you don't try at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, there is a lot of like, she's not like other girls.
Exactly.
Because she drinks whiskey or whatever. And she plays video games.
Yeah. And it's like, if she just did that and it wasn't a big thing, you'd be like, oh my God, this girl's so cool. She's like, you know.
The girl next door. Yeah.
Yeah. but the fact that it's such a key part to her like character, it ruins it, where it's like, okay, we get it, you're cool,
she's not like other girls.
Boys. Yeah.
That's true.
But anyways, that was my 2 cents on that. The next one on my list was Hitch, which we just briefly talked about, but that's another one where just randomly lines from that movie will pop into my head. Yeah by Usher is one of my favorite like hype up songs. And it's like instantly I picture that movie and Will Smith teaching, what is that guy's name? Oh crap, I'm blanking. The other guy,
the actor? Kevin James.
Yes, Kevin James, how to dance. Like, oh my god, so classic. I am obsessed with that. And I just love like the premise of it too, where Kevin James is like trying to score like this successful, beautiful woman, and she's just charmed by his like naturally nerdy personality. Like, I just love that so much. Yeah.
That part is cute. Like at the end when she's saying like, oh, and did you coach him to like do his terrible dancing so I didn't feel, and then he's like, oh no, that was just him. Like, that's pretty cute.
Yeah, totally. But maybe this is why I have such a high standard for guys, because I'm like, you could be made over by Ryan Gosling or Will Smith, and they'll teach you how to act and like be charming and charismatic, and that's just not the reality of the Toronto dating scene. So that right there is why I'm still single.
They need a Hitch type person. That's what Toronto's missing.
Right? Yeah, definitely. And then the last one on my list is Friends with Benefits, which is another peak New York City rom-com. I will say Justin Timberlake is slightly canceled. I know that, but this movie was before, you know, the whole book came out.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I think he's Justin Timberlake is interesting, where he's someone where I'm like, oh, he probably shouldn't act. And then I watched that movie and I was like, actually, I loved that. Like, I love
he's a good actor.
He is. And Mila Kunis, who's also maybe canceled.
Is she?
I missed that. Her and Ashton Kutcher got kind of canceled. But
Scientology. Something to do with that, right? Or are we still canceling them because they don't watch their kids?
I don't remember. I feel
like it was something to do with Scientology.
Okay, maybe. But in any case, I love that movie. And I really love the New York like part being such a key part of the plot. I don't know. I think it's great.
That's another movie where I saw it when it came out and then I haven't seen it since. But I could also be mixing it up with the other one that came out the same year that has Ashton Kutcher in it. Yeah.
And not Natalie Portman? Or is it Natalie Portman?
It is Natalie Portman.
Yeah, okay. That one, no.
I can't remember.
I think you were either No Strings Attached or Friends with Benefits, and I was a big Friends with Benefits. This is the perfect example, actually. I think Mila Kunis in Friends with Benefits is the girl next door without trying too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Great. And then the last question we asked on the gram was people's favorite romance books, which I feel like maybe on movies, I watch more movies than you, but I do feel like you read a lot of romance. I read a lot of romance, so we are well equipped to discuss this category.
And I don't think I'll be adding to the celebrity crush list from this category, but maybe we need to have like
get the fan art
next time. Yeah, get the fan art, or next time we'll ask who's your favorite fictional like crush.
Character. Interesting.
That
would be
year.
That's a very interesting question. We'd need to remember to add that. Okay. I'm expecting people to be like Draco Malfoy or like some like bananas choices, right? Okay, if you're listening, start thinking and get ready for next year. Okay, the first one, or I guess this was the last one we got submitted, was a Taylor Jenkins Reid book, and we had to read it for our book club, and it's One True Loves. And this is a very divisive book.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it, Sadie?
I have so many thoughts on this one. I gave it 3 stars.
Okay.
I didn't love it. I was excited to read it because you're going to hear in a minute, my favorite romance book is also written by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I discovered Taylor Jenkins Reid like later Taylor Jenkins Reid, okay? So this is one of her first books. So going back to read one of her earlier books, I was expecting it to be, you know, as good as her current books, and it really wasn't. It felt very kind of like cliche and just not that great of a book. And I don't know, I didn't love it. I was rooting for the guy she ends up with, which I hope that's not a spoiler, but why I appreciate it so much. And this is so awful maybe for me to say, but it's my honest truth, is that it reminded me that you don't start at the top. In order for Taylor Jenkins Reid to become who she is now, she had to write these books and like go through the process of, you know, becoming who she is now. And maybe she switched editors and publishers or whatever to help her get there. But I was like, this just feels like a very not great early book. But it wasn't like the worst thing I ever read. That's for damn sure. I've read a lot of bad books. All of a sudden I'm thinking of other books that come up that I don't have the heart to give 1 star. I give them like 2 stars.
Oh,
but when I think back on them, I'm like, no, they were definitely 1-star reads. This was not one of those. It was like 3 stars.
Interesting.
But
I gave this book 1 star. Yeah. And I didn't finish. I had like 80 pages left, and I was like, I can't physically do it. And so I did not finish it. I didn't see the movie either. The BuzzFeed original movie.
Yeah. We're not going to watch the movie.
We're going to leave it as a book.
Yeah.
And pretend that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also got submitted a lot of Emily Henry. Some people just saying anything by Emily Henry. We got 2 votes for Book Lovers, which is also on my list.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's like the current reigning queen of romance, I feel.
Yeah. I second that anything by Emily Henry. And I was saying to Tegan, I'm such an idiot. I was reading that response and I was like, anything by Emily Henry? Like, I haven't read anything. And then I was like, oh, they mean literally all Emily Henry books, and that I can definitely get behind. I think Book Lovers might be one of my favorites, but...
Yeah, it's my favorite.
I even really liked Happy Place, and I know you didn't love it, Tag, but... Yeah, I'm excited for the one she puts out this year because I'm like... I don't know, I'm hopeful that she just continues, because Book Lovers was 2 years ago, then Happy Place last year, so I'm like... Let's do it. 3 in a row. That's just like, absolute fire.
Yep. So good. We also had someone submit Every Summer After, which we read in our book club as well.
Our very first book club.
Oh,
book.
Yeah. By a Toronto author, Carly Fortune. And I loved both of her books and have pre-ordered a 3rd one. So I'm ready.
I was surprised you liked her 2nd book. I didn't really like her 2nd book. I gave Every Summer After 5 stars, I'm pretty sure. I loved it. Talking about it, though, at book club, I think I went down to 4 stars because I was like, you guys bring up some interesting points that I didn't think about. But I really loved it. And then Meet Me at the Lake, her 2nd book, I was ready to love it, and I just really didn't.
I liked it better than the first one, but I just don't love like cheating tropes very often, and that was a big part of Every Summer After. It was like, this is a spoiler, sorry. If anyone hasn't read that.
It's a little late to say that, Tag.
I'll just bleep it out. Redacted. Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, for Meet Me at the Lake, people were like, I was reading the Goodreads reviews and people were like, this is going to be like another cheating trope. Like, it was a whole thing. But anyways, we'll see what she does this time. And
no
what
cheating.
I'm interested about, and it's also her last 2 books took place between Toronto and Muskoka, which we live in Toronto. My parents live in Muskoka. So I like that. But the next book is, I think, being set in PEI. So that'll be different for her. And I hope it's like a good, I don't know, something new for her to get me back to being a fan.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Her book's coming out in the spring, and so is the new Emily Henry. So I'm quite excited about that. We also had someone submit The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is the second Bridgerton book, and is also on my list. It's my favorite of all the Bridgertons. I love Anthony. He's my favorite, even though they butchered it in the TV show. So that irritates me, but it's fine. I'm almost over it.
Yeah, I don't think I watched that season of Bridgerton, but I did read the book and I did like it a lot more than the first one.
Yeah, the first one's good for what it is, but I find the second one was better. And they're my favorite characters. Like, I feel like with all those Bridgertons, it's like you pick your favorite and then you really like their book. So yeah, but the show didn't follow the book.
Oh, I did read it.
Like it.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I did watch it after I read it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just a bit strange.
It was. They should have just followed the book. That was where my Bridgerton series stopped, though. I didn't continue.
See, that's what I said too, but then they just released a clip for the next season. And this clip's like 8 seconds long, but I watched it and I was like, oh, they got me. I'm back. I'll watch it all in a day. I'll have to send it to you, but it was, they are changing the order of the stories because the next one's supposed to be Benedict, which I also really like, but they're making it Colin and Penelope.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens with that timeline, but they put out a little clip and I was like, ooh, my little heart. Come out? So they're doing 2 parts. It's like May and August or something.
Oh, Shonda Rhimes making her money.
Yeah, I feel like it must be to do with the strike. Like they had filmed half or something.
That would make sense.
That's my theory, but
yeah. Next on the list, Fourth Wing, which I do love. We just read it in January for our book club, and it was our highest rated book club book yet at 4.75 stars. So that's how many of us? 6, 7 of us. So that many people giving it 4 or 5 stars. That must mean it's a good book. I did like the romance in it too. I will say that without spoiling anything.
Yeah, I really liked him. I like a lot of the tropes that were in that book. I'll say. But yeah,
our book club's now reading Iron Flame, so we'll see how this series continues. Tegan's already read it, and it was funny actually. In the whole book club meeting, everyone kept looking at Tegan as they said their opinion to like see if she would react, knowing what she knows from Iron Flame. So yeah,
I wasn't. There were a couple moments when people were like theorizing about things, where I'd be like, I can just clear that up right now, but I didn't. Kept it to myself. Yeah, we also had someone submit Outlander, which is like another, I guess that's romantasy / historical fiction.
I don't know Outlander. You guys kept talking about it at book club, I think, and I was like, I like don't even think I've heard of this.
What?
Have
Sadie?
I don't think I have.
Shook by you saying that right now.
Is it also a movie I feel you guys are talking about?
It's a TV show.
No.
Girl.
And I'm looking it up. Nothing of this. I'm on Google Images over here. Nothing looks familiar.
Well, the show is on Netflix, so you can get to watching. It's like my mom's favorite series of all time. She like reads it over and over and over again. I am shook that I am curious if your sister's read it, but it's a girl in the 1940s is visiting Scotland and somehow gets sent back in time and picked up by a Scottish Highlander.
That sounds like your mom's favorite. It's checking out.
So it's kind of fantasy because, like, obviously time travel and stuff. But, and so she knows the Battle of Culloden's coming, which is like a big battle. And she's like, do I try and save my man by warning him not to fight in this battle? Or will that just like mess up time? Do I just have to let him die?
Shit.
Yeah. Things get deep out there.
Yeah.
I am so shook. Well, it's on Netflix if you want to watch the series. Okay. I also have all the books signed by the author. So I've met the author many, many times.
That's so funny.
That's why I'm so shook you don't know of it.
Like,
that's
it literally
crazy.
No, nothing. My mind is blank.
Wow. Okay. I am so excited for you. That is so funny. Wow. We also got submitted the book The Princess by Jude Devereaux, which I've never even heard of. Interesting. I'll have to add this to my list.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I'm like reading the synopsis being like,
I was going to say we're both
that
over
sounds
here.
Good. And then we also had A Court of Thorns and Roses submitted, which is a series I'm currently reading. So it was also on my list and I am obsessed. It's like, I haven't finished it yet, so I don't want to say that it's my favorite of all time, but as it currently stands, it's my favorite of all time. So we'll see.
Wow. I'm excited to read it. I'm going to finish the Fourth Wing series so far and then dive into A Court of Thorns and Roses. And I hope I love it as much as everyone else does.
I think
I
too.
will.
Yeah, I do see a lot of people giving it negative reviews, but it all seems to be stemmed from like, this is overhyped.
Okay.
Which I'm like, I don't really think that's a valid review for a book.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it is quite, like, it has a lot of romance tropes. So if you don't like some of that, where I was like, yes, just what I need.
I want that. Yeah. I feel like for Fourth Wing, why I loved it so much and read it so fast was because it was so hyped up. Where I was like, I just feel part of something. Like, I feel part of, I don't know, where I feel like maybe I'll feel that way reading this new series too. So we'll see. But
yeah, I'm very curious to see if you like it or not. I feel like you will, but
yeah, my sister thinks I will too.
Yeah, there is some good fellas in those books, let me tell you. And it's got the enemies to lovers trope, which is one of my faves.
Yeah, mine too. Awesome. Well, what else was on your list, Tag?
Yeah.
Did we actually cover it? I feel like a lot of yours were in the...
Yeah, A Court of Mist and Fury, which is the second in that series. Right. Book Lovers, which was mentioned. The Viscount Who Loved Me. So it's interesting that specifically was the Bridgerton mentioned, because that's my favorite Bridgerton. So that's interesting.
You found it, people.
Yep. And The Love Hypothesis, which is by Ali Hazelwood. And it is also enemies to lovers and fake dating. So I did quite enjoy that.
I do not like fake dating.
Okay. But then the Emily Henry one that you liked, Happy Place, that was fake dating.
But they were fake dating because they were once in love.
Yeah.
Like, it was different. It worked. The Love Hypothesis, I really wanted to like it. Is this like the blue cover? Or I didn't read Love on the Brain.
They're like,
I read the
scientists.
Love yeah, I really didn't.
She's at university. Yeah.
Okay, I gave it like 3 stars. I did not like the spicy scenes in that book, and
I could see
also and I'm one of those people where it's like, if spicy's a genre, sign me up. Like, I want to read spicy books. Not that one. I was like, didn't hit. And then there was something else where, if it was the enemies to lovers or the fake, no, I think it was part of the fake dating trope where she was just like, it was so obvious that he liked her, and she was just like, no, he can't like me. And like, even their banging, as Tegan would say, and she's just like, no, like, he didn't mean it.
Can't be
and
real.
I'm like, oh my God, girl. Yeah, no, I need a confident queen. and she wasn't it. So I think I maybe gave it 3 stars, but it was one of those I didn't really love it. Sorry to just shit all over your choice. Okay. I didn't mean that at all.
I don't know what the trope is, but my favorite thing ever in books is when it's like a guy who's known for like, he's like an asshole, he's undateable, he's like above everyone else, and then the main character dates him. I don't know what that's called, but it's like started in Twilight, where it's like Edward doesn't date anyone here, and then he dates Bella. Okay. I'm like, oh yeah, love it. And so that was the same trope in that, where he's known as like, he thinks he's better than everyone else, he won't date any of the girls here, and then they have to fake date.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
That's my fave.
That. Okay.
I don't even know if it's an actual thing. But
yeah, I want to see it's kind of like out of my league trope.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah.
But
so those are my faves.
I love it. I'm adding 1 to the list. Actually, adding 2 to the list that haven't been mentioned yet. Like I did hint, though, the first one is by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and it is Daisy Jones and the Six. That is still probably my favorite book of all time, I think. I absolutely loved it. If you watched the show but didn't read the book, I will say the book was better, which I think a lot of people always say, regardless if it's a TV show, movie based off a book. But I really felt like the tension and love and romance reading the book, where watching the show I didn't really feel that way. However, of course, I appreciated like the costumes, the music, and I thought the show was still good. But the book, man, oh God, it was like pulling at my heartstrings. So I loved that and definitely recommend it. And it was also such an interesting read, since how it's written is like in that interview style. So again, similar to the show. And I really thought I would have a hard time remembering the characters and having character development when it's written that way. Like, it's not descriptive and, dialogue as much. Like, I don't know, but at the same time it worked and I absolutely loved it. So that is my number 1 romance book, number 1 book, period. Then I also said Anything by Emily Henry. And then the last one on my list I read maybe 2 summers ago. And I was having a hard time remembering what it was about, but Tegan reminded me. And it was One Last Stop. I also don't remember the author right now, but it was like a LGBTQ plot, I guess. And I loved it. I just felt the romance in it, and it was, I don't want to say it was fantasy but it had a little bit of like time travel and like ghost stuff happening, where I guess maybe that's kind of fantasy-esque, but it was set in New York. We love that. A lot of it was set on the subway. We know I'm a transit girly through and through. Like, so funny. Actually, one thing that comes back to me after I read it, I went to Goodreads, rated it 5 stars, and every now and then I'll like take a look through the reviews on Goodreads. And the first review was so funny. It was like, this book is about my least favorite thing in the world, PDA on public transportation. It's like, oh my God, like accurate, but I loved the book. So I wanted to shout that out as well, even though, like I said, it's been a while since I read it. So I'm having a hard time giving you a better like description of why I loved it so much. But yeah, I also loved the supporting characters in that book. I think that was actually a big thing. Also, why I liked Happy Place by Emily Henry so much is it's one thing to like the main character and be rooting for the main character, but it's like a whole other thing if you like all the characters in the book, and I feel like in One Last Stop, I was rooting for the main character, but her friends, I was just like, I don't know, I just liked the other characters too. I don't know what it is, guys. I've said on the podcast before, and I stand by this, where I don't believe in soulmates, but reading books like Daisy Jones and the Six, I'm like, but I do believe in true love. Like, where I'm like, are Billy and Daisy soulmates? No. But I felt that they had like the true love.
It was meant to be.
Yeah. And
interesting.
Yeah. I was thinking about that for another book we had talked about, but I can't remember which one it was now. Even the Emily Henry one, where I'm like, they broke up, they fake date. I don't know. I believe in true love.
Yeah, you need to read A Court of Thorns and Roses, because that's
okay, I will.
like a theme.
I'm so excited.
Where it's like, do you pick who you love, or is it just like the fate has led you there, you know?
Yeah.
Is it an invisible string tying you together?
Right. Interesting. Oh, I'm such a hopeless romantic where yeah, I'm gonna love it. And I said to Tegan, like reading Fourth Wing, reading any book, since I read a lot of romance, I'm that girl who like is reading in bed and kicking my feet squealing when something goes exactly how I wanted, or if it's like finally happening between the two characters, I'm like, oh my God, yay! That's me. So that's why I love romance. I'm even the same watching a romance movie, let's be honest. So I love this episode. That's what I'm trying to say. Over here squealing. Just thinking about all of these things.
Yeah. Great.
Awesome. Well, there it is, guys. Our Galentine's Day episode, second annual, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But we had so much fun. We hope you guys did too. Sorry if this episode was a little long, but thanks for sticking through to the end. If you want to submit for the next episode we have like this, where we're asking for your guys' input, where we want to share it, add our own, then follow us on Instagram. We are at our Golden 20s. We post these types of questions on our stories, but you can also just see other content that we get up to in between podcast episodes. You can also find us on TikTok. We're at our Golden 20s over there as well. And yeah, also just post kind of like behind the scenes, day in our life type stuff. So go check that out. We also we also are on Pinterest. We have Spotify playlists. We're on Facebook, and then we are on Patreon, which is the number one way to support the podcast for as little as $2 a month. So go check that out. We also are putting out weekly content over there, as well as a bonus episode or like our weekly debrief pre-recording of every podcast episode. We're publishing it over there every Friday. So if you like these kind of chit-chat type episodes, you're going to love the weekly debrief. So head over there and sign up for Patreon. But I think that is everything. Tegan and I are in New York while you were listening to this episode, so make sure you tune in next week. Speaking of debriefs, we're going to be doing a whole trip recap, so make sure you subscribe and follow us on whatever app you're listening to this, and check back next Tuesday to hear how it all went down. But that's it for now, and we will see you next Tuesday.